Congressman Paul, come on up.
Hey, Newt. Good job. Thank you.
Congressman Ron Paul, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Hey, Jim.
You have 3 minutes for an opening statement.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for the format. I understand that we were supposed to address the subject of first principles. I've been trying to do that for about 35 or 40 years, and I welcome the opportunity to talk about first principles, because that's what America is all about, and the first principle for America should be liberty. And I think we've forgotten about that, and we now are run by a bunch of lobbyists and special interests, and we have forgotten about liberty. But Thomas Jefferson was very clear about liberty, and he told us where liberty came from. It came from our Creator. It didn't come from our government. And if we believe in liberty, we have to also understand exactly what our revolution was all about. Because the contest then at that time was against tyranny, as all history has been. Tyranny versus liberty. We had the best taste of liberty ever. And we had the freest country and the most prosperous country. And today, it is slipping away. The last 100 years, I think it's been slipping away, and it's a real challenge. But the founders decided that liberty was the cause, and it should be the cause of all political action. And for that reason, they wrote a document that was not perfect, but it was really the best ever written. And it was designed for the purpose of indicating how to limit government. So the Constitution was written for the sole purpose of limiting the federal government, and that's what it should do. And the business was supposed to be left to the people and to the republic. I do not like the word democracy. The founders didn't like the word democracy, and we're supposed to defend our republic, which means personal liberty and limited government. But what did they put into the Constitution? They put some very precise things into the Constitution, and a lot of it has been distorted. Our founders detested the idea and understood the danger of allowing governments and central banks to print money out of thin air, because that it is guaranteed that government will spend too much money if the politicians know that there's somebody always there to print the money. That is the reason it's in there. No gold, only gold and silver can be legal tender. If we believe in liberty and believe in the Constitution, believe me, we would understand exactly what has made America great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ron, let's keep that train of thought going. And again, thanks for coming. The federal government now has a lot of control over education, healthcare, transportation, energy, banking, our financial institutions. If you were president, what would you begin to downsize, eliminate, redirect to states? What are the programs at the federal level that we need to get out of the federal government?
Well, that's a difficult question, because that's a long list. I'd rather you give me the list of one of the things we should keep.
Yeah.
That would be a short list.
Well, let's flip it around then. What should the federal government be doing?
Well, we should have a system of sound money and property rights and contracts. We should have a judicial system. We should have a government and a defense of this country. That was not meant to be for the states, but not a heck of a lot else. We weren't supposed to have 100,000 federal bureaucrats who carry guns. People are supposed to carry the guns, not the bureaucrats. So, no, I think everything should be up for grabs, and it should be grossly reduced. And both parties have added departments endlessly for the last 5, 6, 7 decades. And that's why freedom is not the issue anymore. It's tyranny, it's big government, and we're trying to struggle to hang on to this. But I think we're in a desperate state of affairs because it's slipping by, and with the economy in shambles like we have today, I think we're in much bigger trouble than a lot of people realize.
You mentioned the Federal Reserve, and you and I have worked on the idea of an audit. It's bringing out a few things that we didn't know. They apparently are printing a lot of money, buying our own debt. What is the solution with the Federal Reserve? Do we need to return to a gold standard? You talk a lot about sound money. Exactly what would you do as president?
Well, the president has a limit to what he can do because the Federal Reserve was created by the Congress. It could be restrained by the Congress. It could be eliminated by the Congress. But the most important thing is for the people to understand the business cycle. Who causes the business cycle and how do we get into recessions and depression? And it has to do with the Federal Reserve. So you can't wave a wand and get Federal Reserve. Even I, who have written about and talked about the Federal Reserve, I don't say close the Federal Reserve down in one day. But I would like to at least see competition. Why can't we legalize the Constitution on money? Competing currency, let gold and silver be used for legal tender. Today, if you use gold and silver, you can go to prison. And the counterfeiters are over there at the Federal Reserve. So